We're getting for our next session. Right, Faisal is here. Well, I have the pleasure of having another entrepreneur and experienced individual, Faysal Ghauri from Halal Payment Network. Faisal is and his team are on a mission to create a complete Sharia-based platform and ecosystem. So I'm going to hand over to Faisal and introduce himself and take us through what's happening from a Sharia-compliant ecosystem and application in Saudi Arabia.
Okay. Thank you, Ahmed. Thanks for a brief introduction. My name is Faisal. I have a fintech based in Canada called Halal Payment Networks. We are mainly focusing on the providing the our Muslim community the Islamic and Sharia compliant products through our Halal Payment Network ecosystem. Uh, Currently, I am based in Saudi Arabia, so I am covering Saudi Arabia, the Middle East region, and the North American region. Now, let's go back to the presentation. So, the main topic today is what is halal payment and what is open banking, and how we can get the Sharia compliant finance or payment system through the open banking. So all of us know open banking is a global movement where we are allowing third party payment providers to access through the APIs to the customer information. These third party providers could be telecom companies, any utilities, business, fintech, or anything. And by this slide, we are going to explain the bank is opening their APIs and then providing access to the TPP through the API. And these TPPs are building up the products and innovations through the fintech, what they are offering by collecting the customer data through these API. Why open banking, what it is benefiting? This is benefiting, for example, the improving the customer experience, customer service. The product life cycle is very quick. You are ready to launch to market product compared to conventional banking system. This is a new revenue system, more insight driven data, and being viewed as an innovator in the market and increase compliance with the regulations. Now, let's see what others are talking about the open banking. For example, Deloitte is talking about open banking. EY is saying open banking is reshaping financial services as regulators and governments seek to increase competition and choice. There is a research and market report expecting 37.77 billion worldwide open banking industry by 2025. So there are so many things happening since last few years on the open banking. And if we see the landscape of this open banking, so we can see mostly this is most mature and driven through the Europe. In Europe, most of the open banking initiatives are international level, others are national and industry levels. The other view of the same, if we see uh, the development of the open banking in the geographical region, majority of the implemented open banking systems are in Europe, China, Hong Kong, and emerging markets are Africa, Middle East, and part of the Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and Australia. These are transitional at the moment. Now, coming back to the main topic, what is Sharia or Halal compliance? You have heard a lot of buzzwords: Halal banking, Sharia compliance, Islamic finance, ethical banking, and so on. All of these are same. All of these are driven by the Sharia law, which is the divine law for the religion. One of the report is issued by uh, sh- uh, issued by the Islamic and Western Finance Development Report. These at the moment 135 countries are covered by IFDI, which is Islamic Financial Development Institutes. $3.374 trillion market is there, which is expecting to be growth 8% on yearly basis by 2025. There is a one myth, in my opinion, because most of the people think Islamic finance or Islamic economic principles, this is only for Muslims. I think this is a myth. And how I will explain this myth is through one of my tagline I usually use in my North American market. If the halal meat is more hygienic, so halal finances. Uh, I will not go into much detail that what or how is halal meat is hygienic, but based on my personal experience when I was in North American market, I have seen there are more non-Muslims customers on halal meat shop than normal Muslims. Although we know that halal meat is more expensive than regular meat, although we know that halal meat supply chain is much lesser than regular meat, but people, especially non-Muslims, are buying because they understand this is hygienic. So this was enabled by the trust and awareness. The same we need to make the concept in the finance, halal finance industry, to enable the trust and the awareness, to let people know this is not only for Muslim, this is for the humanity, and this is for the everyone. Now, Islamic financial institutions with the open banking can do many things. For example, currently with the conventional banking, if I want to open the financial institute, I need a lot of funds, I need a lot of regulations to be complied, and I need many other factors to be factor on before proceeding for any financial institute. The beauty with the open banking, for example, banking as a service, fintech as a service, API based fintech, uh, you you are not spending much. It is cost efficient, it is lesser time, flexible, and it is agile. uh, I will not go into much product based, but few of the ideas through this presentation, I would say one of the thing which is community is suffering and which we can utilize this beautiful open banking platform is the zakat and sadqa and waqf. Uh, in order to calculate the zakat, you need to know the individual worth, and now my individual worth could be spreaded over multiple different financial institutions. So if I am fetching all this information through the API and calculating the zakat actually as per the Sharia law, that will ease all of the customers which are paying the zakat by end of the year, uh, every year. And this is very huge market, and this is where we can work a lot on this. The second solution could be is the wasiyat, which is the inheritance law, where we need to also find documentation to access all the asset and liability information of an individual. Uh, if the any Muslim dies, his or her wealth needs to be distributed according to the Islamic inheritance law. So, similar to the Vasya documentation, fintech innovation to compute for right distribution would also require access to the deceased assets and liabilities, which spreaded data across different various institutions. Again, with published open APIs, access to the data will be very easy and possible, and this will be provide great value to the customer. Existing solutions currently, the personal investment apps are there, solutions are there with open banking. There are home ownerships in North American market is there, savings are there, payments products there, crowdfunding, Sharia compliance products are there, and P2P lending products are also there. uh, I'm not going to finish here. I would you utilize this time to share with the experience why halal payments come up in the market. When we were there in North American market, in European market, we have seen majority of the Muslim community was unbanked there, especially in USA and Canadian market, because of the lack of the trust with the financial product provider. So they are unbanked, they are not buying their home, they are not going for mortgages, they are not going for car leasing, they are still living on the rent. So there is a huge potential which we studied, and then we developed this halal payment networks ecosystem in Canadian market to provide the Sharia compliant products by enabling their trust to provide the right products for the right people through our super app in Canadian market. A lot of work still needs to be done. What I'm trying to present here is this is a huge market. This is not only for the Muslim or specific beliefs perspective. For an example, India, we have 300 million plus Muslims, but overall it's 1.2 plus billion plus population. So if we target based on the population, we can cater a lot of business through this open banking system according to the Sharia compliance. That's it from my side.
Thanks, Faisal.
Amir.
Yes, thank you for that. There's a question. As you're building the platform, maybe if you can explain a little bit about the platform. Are you onboarding different service providers onto the platform? And if you are, how do you select them? Is there a criteria? Same way that we have cybersecurity checks and what have you. How do you apply those criterias to make sure what they are offering is Sharia compliant?
Okay. So very right question for the right time. We have multiple criteria to onboard multiple partners. We are trying to capture the aggregator market in the North America. So currently there are so many fintech, Islamic Sharia compliant fintechs are there. For example, there is Wahid, there is Manzil, there are many other products, but they are doing as a individual fintech perspective. There is no aggregator to provide all of these services through the Sharia compliant ecosystem. So the criteria for the Sharia compliance is we have different criteria. Then, as you asked, cybersecurity, we have different criteria, and then we need to see the local regulations as well. So we cater all three criteria to onboard any partners to our ecosystem. Most probably, most of these partners are already well established. They are already providing services to different sectors. We are just providing our aggregation services to these partners.
Okay. And you're doing similar things, I guess, as you're expanding in different markets. So whether
Exactly.
it's okay.
Exactly, and we are expanding in different markets, and we are for example, Canadian market open banking regulations not yet released. It was just last year they released as a advisory, which will be, I believe, by next 2023 they will be announced the proper regulations. Then we need to customize accordingly.
Okay. And do you see the opportunity here? Open banking. We talk about banks opening up, access to the data, but you acting as an aggregator. Do you see the opportunity for you also turning back to the bank to offering the different types of services, so then they can offer that to their end customers? Since a lot of banks, in particular in Canada, don't offer Sharia compliant products and services.
Definitely, this is a big opportunity for the aggregator Sharia compliant service provider like us to provide the services to the conventional and traditional banks back in any market, not only in Canadian or North American market, any market. This is the big opportunity for us.
Okay. And how do you see, you are mostly operating in North America, and you're looking at the Saudi market. Are you looking at elsewhere? How do you see the different regions of the world in terms of their open banking and enabling what you're trying to build?
As we have seen the footprint of the open banking, we know the European market is much mature. They are the pioneer to initiate this open banking initiative a few years back. Saudi market is, as I was hearing other speakers as well, is still under the regulation, which is about to be announced by summer. Other markets like Bahrain and Middle East region, they are also transitioning into open banking. There is a huge potential for us, but however, we are currently focusing more on Canadian and North American market because there is a huge unbanked population which we and others needs to tap. before expanding to the Middle East and European region. However, the local regulations could be changed, which will be little bit tricky. For example, if we expand to any other region where the regulations is conflicting with our framework, which will be very tricky. So we need to wait for the regulations for before the expansion.
Or you might look for other partners as joint ventures, maybe in other markets.
Yes.
Okay, very good. That you mentioned your focus is on the unbanked at the moment. How do you see moving, the kind of, say, Sharia compliant loans and services? Do you see expanding into the SME market? Because a lot of the unbanked sometimes, are also entrepreneurs, SMEs, maybe sole proprietary. How do you see that market developing for you, for these type of services and products?
See, the demand is there, and it was there since the day one. The only issue was the what I have noticed is the lack of trust. There was a few incidents happen in the past where different organizations comes into the picture with the Sharia compliance certificate, and later stage they tend to be different, and they left the market with the very bad results. So that lack of trust and that incidents make this market very resist to adopt any new player coming into the market. We are trying to enabling the trust based on our experience in Saudi Arabia, based on our experience working with different other Muslim countries. We are enabling at the moment the trust in the North American market within the community and outside the community. Our first focus is community, and second focus is outside the community. But yes, SMEs and others uh, definitely require the products, Sharia compliant products they are waiting for. We are working on that gradually, and surely within next 2 to 3 years we will be have right solutions for them.
Yeah, I think you picked on the topic of trust, which I think is key for any financial institution. So on one hand, I personally kind of believe, obviously working with my bank would require that trust. On the other hand, open banking also requires me to give access to data from different sources. How are you tackling that side of trust? How sort of the education? There is a lot of, I guess it's a follow-up question. There's a lot of education going on amongst ourselves in the fintech community about open banking. But do you see a lot of education is happening on the consumer side, what open banking is and why they can or should trust or not trust it?
There is always a need for the awareness and education for the consumers. Luckily, the Saudi market or Middle East market is more towards the young generations. They are most of the population are young, so it's easy to generate the awareness and training. But other side, you if you are talking about North American market, the situation is not similar as Middle East market, where you need to push more towards the awareness, and there are so many even with conventional banking, even you have so many frauds happening in the past where they are lacking their trust. So this is ongoing work where you need to keep pushing the awareness in the market through different campaigns and different segments.
Yeah, very true. I guess just one couple of last questions. If you were going to do it all over again, what you started here, a few years back, what would you say that you would do more faster, and what would you say you would skip it and not worry about it and maybe do it later?
Definitely, based on our own experience, the Canadian market, which is considered as one of the growing market, but still we face a lot of challenges. Still, we face even a lot of challenges by opening a bank account as a corporate. So still that needs to be revived. Still that needs to be revisit the framework. If I will get a chance to do it again, I will try to learn the lessons from our past experience, as well as to educate the market and the regulators how we can make it faster for the newcomers in the market.
Okay, fantastic. Great. Faisal, I appreciate your presentation and sharing the knowledge and information. I don't see any more questions from the audience. I think with this, we can bring this session to a close. And just want to remind the audience, we're going into the break until 1 p.m. So you can come back into the sessions after 1 p.m. In the meantime, make sure you take advantage of the treasure hunt, the prize to be won, as well as the partner village and the expo. So I wish everybody a good break and hope to see everyone at 1 p.m.